Good afternoon and welcome to Love Yourself Spiritual Channel. My name is Peggy. This afternoon I'm going to continue a series that we've begun at looking at different aspects of the body, different areas of the body, and what pain, injury, and discomfort sensations in that area of the body can spiritually and emotionally indicate that might be going on in your life that if you took a look at could clear up some of those discomforts. And today we're going to actually look at the knees, and the knees are naturally ruled by the sign of Capricorn, and I always call Capricorn the workhorse of the zodiac because they're a very practical earth energy. It also rules the 10th house, which is the house of career and finance, status. A lot of our ambitions are come out of that 10th house. They're also a cardinal sign, which means that they are initiators of change. And interestingly, though, Capricorn can be a little bit resistant to change because the change that they will make will come from a logical stance. And so if they can see the logic in something, then it's very easy for them to change, and they will actually initiate the change. The most common emotional and spiritual energy that becomes trapped in the knee chakra is fear. And that is something that I think we all deal with. One of the most interesting things I think about Capricorn being ruled by the mountain goat, and the mountain goat obviously scales some pretty interesting places, and you would think they were fearless, but they're actually not. Capricorns, all the Capricorns I know are actually kind of terrified of heights. And so it's really about pushing through the fear or overcoming fear, conquering fear. So if you have an intermittent pain, it indicates that you have a fear of being flexible, of taking a flexible view. Maybe you're only refusing to see the other side and only seeing your own side. It can be an indication of kind of a prideful stance, where pride is always covering over a fear that you have, maybe not being open to seeing both sides of a situation. So intermittent pain, if you have intermittent pain in your knees, then possibly just consider, where am I not being flexible? Where am I not allowing myself to see both sides of a situation? And it doesn't mean that you have to change your stance, but just being able to validate and understand the other side can be all that's needed to create balance and harmony. Fluid on the knees, that generally will indicate that there's an emotional overload, that possibly you're carrying too much of the burden in your life as it pertains to, possibly it can be career, too much burden in family, a dynamic, too much of the financial burden, emotional burden. It can indicate any of the burden in relationships and situations. And it's a call to ask for assistance. So if you have fluid on your knees, it's a call to ask for assistance. And that asking always begins with the divine. And a lot of times, if you ask the divine and your guides to help you to balance your load, it absolutely will. And it will help to inspire people around you to come forward and without you asking. But then, of course, also, if you need more assistance, ask the people around you to come forward and to help you. The Capricorn likes to do things themselves because they want it done in a very particular way. They can be a little bit of a micromanager, a little OCD. And so it's possibly an opportunity to look at those things within you and say, okay, do I need to micromanage this? Or could I teach someone to do this well? Because they are good teachers. The right knee, separating out the sides of the body, the right knee is going to deal with a physical or 3D experience that you're having. So a lot of times that'll look like fear of something that's going on in your life, a fear of something happening in your life. So a fearful mindset. And again, that falls back into that micromanaging and OCD, the need to control things. And a lot of times it just comes down to maybe not feeling as supported as you would like to be. And it just calls for a surrender and a kind of to reach for trust. Trust that you are always supported by the divine spirit, and that you can spread out some of the responsibility. Again, having the physical side, having some 3D manifestation, and then possibly also looking at your mindset and working with it, so that knowing and understanding that you are supported, that can be very helpful. And the left side, the left knee, will have more of a spiritual nature. And it will indicate that possibly you're not moving in alignment with what your soul's journey is. You may be ignoring intuitive promptings. And so it's a call to just be more quiet in your mind and open your heart more to the intuitions that would lead you in a more comfortable direction. Because your spiritual path, the one that was laid out for you, that you came to grow through, will be the most comfortable one. It will have the least amount of rocks and bumps in it. And then if you've had a serious injury, a serious knee injury, which would be about the same as having a tower moment, because when you have a knee injury, it pretty much puts you out of commission if you have a job that where you're on your feet, or you have to be physically moving about. And it really calls for a need to shift from a fear mindset, possibly from resentments or rage, because those also will be things that will be held within the knee. But repeating mental patterns. It's a call to look for repeating mental patterns that are holding you back and causing you to feel fear. And the fear always has to do with projecting things that haven't happened in the future, and remembering or keeping active things that you didn't like that happened in the past. And you don't want to manifest those things. So anytime that you have a thought and that thought goes out of you and your heart has a fearful emotional reaction to it, it's important to understand that as that thought goes out of you and that emotion leaves you, they leave together and they go out into the universe. And then your heart, through that feeling, attracts back to you magnetically, like a magnet does, back to itself, the equivalence in a 3D manifestation of that feeling. And so you don't want to manifest things that you're afraid of. So dwelling in a mindset that causes you fear over and over again on a subject is going to keep that subject from changing. And so it's really, an injury is a really a moment where you can just pause, where the universe is just saying, stop these thoughts. We've got to change direction. We need to take some time. We need to do a little bit of self-love, self-care. We need to understand that you are supported whether or not you're on your feet or not. So I think it's really important understanding that knee pain, injury, and sensations do have a spiritual connotation connected to them. And then I thought next we would look at the Emperor, the Devil, and the Ten of Pentacles, which are all ruled by Capricorn, and see what other information the Divine Spirit might like to give us in reference to those. So I'm going to pause a moment and move the camera. Okay, so I'm back and I have our cards already laid out, and I've shuffled everything and cleaned the decks and called in spirit. And I thought we would just flip out one more card for an overall energy. We're starting this reading with the Emperor, which in tarot is the spiritual energy of all the kings, all of the 3D kings. So he is the ultimate authority and power figure. He's obviously a great leader of the zodiac, and the energy that we have for the overall energy is the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, and so then moving on next to, and I'll show you these cards. I chose a traditional deck in honor of Capricorn energy because they love tradition, history, and that kind of stuff. They're usually kind of history buffs. And then the second card is the Devil, and the Devil is about the patterns that we keep that possibly are not serving us, that are actually causing us pain, but they are so familiar our mind loves to do what is familiar because it understands that even if it's uncomfortable, it understands how to navigate that pain. And so the devil is always an indication that there is a pattern that needs to be looked at. And then the last card that we're going to clarify is the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles is 3D fulfillment. And if any of the signs knows how to build the Ten of Pentacles, to build a solid foundation and to become abundant, it is definitely the Capricorn. My youngest son is a Capricorn, and I can remember when he was maybe 5 or 6 years old, going through his drawers and changing out from winter to summer one spring and taking out things that no longer fit him. I ran across this very, very heavy sock, and it was a little knot was tied in the top, and it was obviously full of coins and stuff. And I said to him, I said, what's in this sock? And he said, oh, that's my money. I said, oh, okay. Well, how much money is it, and where'd you get it? And he's like, well, it's, I don't know, probably $300. I mean, he knew enough at that point. He could count to 300 by the time he was 6. And I said, really? Where'd this come from? And he said, oh, you know, at horse shows, if you're a little kid and you want ice cream and you say, I don't know where my mommy is, but I would like some ice cream, pretty much anyone will give you $1, because ice cream cone's just $1. And he said, sometimes I got ice cream and sometimes I just save the money. And so the Capricorn definitely understands how to build abundance, even if it's just $1 at a time when you're 6. So, and then, and I think that's a beautiful energy, as also indicated by the Ace of Pentacles, because the Ace of Pentacles, Ace has always been about a new beginning, and a beginning that starts with the self, because one always indicates the self for me, and Pentacles about building something in the 3D world. And they know how to start, and they know how to plan. Definitely the Capricorn energy does. So I think that's a beautiful card for the overall energy. Okay, and then I'm going to use this Circle of Life Tarot, also a traditional tarot deck, traditionally inspired tarot. Okay, Spirit, would you just give us a few cards for this Emperor energy, for this authority figure and builder? Oh, such a cute card. Again, the Ace of Pentacles, the Magician. Turn these in the correct direction. I will show you these. I'll show the camera these in just a second. What about one more, maybe? Thank you. The Sun. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so reading this as a mental energy is the Ace of Pentacles. And again, as I was talking about the overall energy also, the Ace of Pentacles is about starting with the self, understanding what it is that you actually want, and then from that perspective, from the perspective of self, and understanding what you want, then building a very clear path towards moving in that direction. So it's a beginning that starts in your mind and with a plan, and then in the emotional energy, in the heart space, being the Magician, understanding that you have the power. Their spiritual energy is there for you to build or to manifest what it is that you want. And the Magician in this card, he has the wand of passionate energy. He has the cup of love, emotional energy. Oh, there's a pentacle. Oh, there's the sword. He has a sword sticking out from the back, probably in a holster in the back, or sheath in the back, and then a pentacle here. So he understands the energies of all of those things, and he's walked enough life. He's an older gentleman. He's walked enough life that he understands how to manifest. He understands how to alchemize the energies, how to use his thoughts, how to then also through the heart space decide how he's going to feel about a subject, and then manifest it in the 3D using his passionate energy. He uses the staff. His passionate energy is a walking staff, So, and then in the spiritual energy, and I love this, is the sun. And the sun is the happiest card in the deck. And it is about spirit saying, follow the sun. Follow those things that really make you happy. Because your happiness is the most important thing. And keep the power of your happiness within you. Be the authority of your own happiness, as indicated by the Emperor here. Understanding that you, as you make a plan and go forward, you can manifest your happiness. And your happiness is up to you. It's up to no one else. If you look for someone else to make you happy, there's a good chance you won't be happy, because happy is an inside job. Okay, and then the Devil. What have we got here? Six of Wands in the emotional energy. I'm sorry, the mental energy. Judgment in the emotional energy. And what else? Spirit, what else would you give us for the Devil? Sixes for me are always about balance. And also Wands are about passionate energy. And the Six of Wands is always a card of winning. It's a card of victory, of being seen and being okay with being seen. And someone's just coming in. So in your mind, being able to have victory in the mind, being able to passionately decide, what thoughts am I going to have? What thoughts do I want to have? Knowing that my heart is going to respond to them, and in responding to them, then it's going to magically manifest something. And so conquering the mind, having victory over the mind, and then in the heart space, judgment. Is this feeling that I'm having in response to that thought, does it feel good? Do I want to manifest something that feels like this? And if not, then making a judgment and going back into the mind and actively working with the mind to overcome. So if it's fear, if the thought you had caused you fear, and the judgment is, well, that's a fearful thought. That actually is going to manifest or attract to me something that I don't actually want. So making that judgment and then going back into the mind and having victory over the mind. And someone said to me once, and it did offend me a little bit when they said it, if there's an area of your life, a subject in your life that you are unhappy with, then the way that you're working with your mind sucks. I thought, that's not very nice. But they were right. They were right. And we have to become responsible. We have to take ownership of those thoughts. We have to have victory over our mind. We have to have victory over our thoughts. We have to learn to direct our thoughts, not in response to something that has happened, and not in response to an emotion that we're just letting cycle through our life. If we're being led around by our emotions and just giving our power away to them, it's going to manifest whatever you're feeling, no matter whether you're in charge of it or not. So you might as well get in charge of it. And that's really what that conversation helped me to understand, was that it's my responsibility to direct my thoughts in a way, thumbs up, in a way that benefits me, that doesn't bring me more things that I don't want on any subject. And then the last card out is the Four of Cups. This is really an interesting card. She's actually looking at one of the cups, or into one of these. They're almost like jugs, like they're big. But the Three of Cups is always about, and maybe this person is actually alchemizing the energy in those Three of Cups, but the Three of Cups is always an energy of a little bit of complacency, maybe spiritually not really putting a lot of effort forth to see that those three cups are full, and that there are things in your life to be grateful for. And the universe will always want to offer you more love, more on whatever the subject is that you are wanting victory in your mind over and wanting to manifest, whatever pattern it is that you're seeking to stop in your mind. The universe will always want to offer you more on that subject than what you're experiencing. And because the universe, as you experience it, and the 99.99% of you that flows through you, that is God, it is experienced with you simultaneously. So the Four of Cups for me is spiritually about always reaching for more by and through the appreciation of what you have. And think, just put it into perspective. Do you have more than some people? Do you have a house? Are you living in your car? And if you are, you have a car. So finding some appreciation, even if it takes comparing a little bit of comparison with what would it be like for that cup not to be there? What would it be like not to have a house? What would it be like not to have a job? What would it be like not to have a couple of friends? And finding some gratitude for those things so that you can open yourself up to more love. And as you, on other subjects, you know, the three other cups, on other subjects, as you appreciate things about them, the one that you're working with that has the devil energy in it, the pattern that you maybe are wanting to change, the more gratitude you have in other areas, the more that gratitude is going to be easily brought into that space, into the place where you're working, you're trying to do the work with your mindset. And especially if it's a fearful mindset, because fear is a very bittersweet energy. It's very easy to fall into. Okay, let's take a look at this Ten of Pentacles. Spirit, what would you have for this Ten of Pentacles for us? And Ten of Pentacles, again, is about building, laying, having done all of the work required to get to a solid foundation and abundance. Ten of Pentacles is 3D abundance, 3D fulfillment. So in your mind, the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is fulfillment in love. It's an abundance of love. And by building, by understanding that you can build, that it is up to you to build the Ten of Pentacles, keeping in mind that the Ten of Cups, that those feelings of abundance and the thoughts of abundance in your mind, that is a huge part of what's going to build that. What else, Spirit? That's really beautiful. I love that. This is a really consolidated energetic reading, definitely. It's kind of all just really flowing very well together. That's a lot, Spirit. Three of Swords, Ten of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, and Three of Wands. Okay. There's a few more than I was planning on, but that's okay. So in the heart space, and possibly what can be a driving force is the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords for me is just like one of the most painful cards in the deck, because it's that point of realizing that something is not what it seemed, and that there's a lot of mental conflict about it, a lot of mental, for me it's anguish, it's grief, it's anguish, it's just being so painful in the mind. And whether it's you and another person that are having conflicting thoughts, and then, you know, that sort of reality that's just really stabbed you right through the heart, right through the center of the heart, because reality, when it's not what we think it is, when it's not what we hope that it is, and in our heart what we don't, you know, we're hoping it wasn't, that reality can be very, very difficult to deal with. But I think that pain, that heartfelt pain, well, you don't want to stay there forever. You do want to feel it fully, and you do want to move through it, and you want to glean the wisdom that is in those emotions for you to have, because there is wisdom there when there's pain. And it is uncomfortable. I understand that, you know, that emotional pain is very difficult and very uncomfortable to alchemize, but that is what it takes. It does take sitting quietly with that pain and allowing it to be there and to be fully felt, so that you know, as I said, the information that it has for you can be realized. And then spiritually, the Ten of Pentacles, again, coming out to clarify the Ten of Pentacles, it really is about knowing that as you move through that pain and using the wisdom behind it as a springboard, and even the energy of it can help to be a springboard, to spiritually be reaching for and looking for ways to establish that foundation, ways to establish that abundance. And it feels very monetary with so many pentacles out here. on this Ten of Pentacles, because the next card is the Knight of Pentacles, and the Knight of Pentacles is, Knights are about taking what is within us outside of us and going forward with it, and the Knight of Pentacles is the Knight that is going to take from the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles over here, it's going to take that and it's going to move it forward. It's a very masculine energy, and while it's not going to go very fast, and it's going to be very methodical, and it's going to get all of the things that need to be done, and make sure that they're done correctly. There's no reckless energy in the Knight of Pentacles. It is going to lay a solid foundation. So begin to move outside of yourself, the spiritual intuitive hits that you're getting about building this Ten of Pentacles, and use the pain that you've experienced, possibly the wisdom that is going to be connected to that, to move forward. And then the last card is the Three of Wands. And the Three of Wands, I think, is an amazing energy. It is a little bit of an energy of waiting for your ship to come in, having decided on a course of action, having taken some of the action. And then it's a little bit of allowing the energies and the things that you are lining up energetically to actually manifest. In some decks, there's ships in the horizon and the person is looking out into the horizon, and so it's about waiting for the manifestation of the changes that you have decided to make. Some of these changes you've decided to make as the Magician and used your judgment in your heart space. I mean, then being patient and allowing the energies to line up, because even if you aren't physically doing anything, if you have done some energetic work and some healing and redirecting of your mindset, the Three of Wands is a card that really just says, just allow the work that you've done to come back to you. Be receptive. Be in a place of energetically receiving, waiting on the shore, expecting for the better to come to you that you are aligning your energy up with. So it's a card of being patient, patiently waiting, which it can be hard for fire signs. That's fire energy, and that's not we don't like the wait. But it is something that we all have to learn to do. So, and then I thought I would clarify this overall energy, this Ace of Pentacles energy, the overall energy of the reading. Spirit, what would you have for an overall understanding in the reading and this further clarifying this Ace of Pentacles? The World. Yes. So and it's interesting, I put the World card right on top of that Devil energy. The World card is about ending cycles ending, cycles opening. And so, just be aware of where you are in transforming the cycle, the pattern, possibly this Devil pattern, and open to a new cycle in your world, so that you can, as in the world, as generally is indicated with the Allura that is a circle, the patterns, the loops, the mental loops that we keep. Be aware of those, so that you can step out of the one that's not working and into one that is victory, into one that is the Six of Wands, into one that, with judgment in your heart space, brings what it is that you want. And so that's where to start is Ace of Pentacles. Be aware of the cycles and how you're moving through them. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else on that? Or is we good on that? Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is a wounded warrior, and I actually love that card. And while it can be a card that in the 3D indicates that you just can't keep running into the same wall or keep fighting the same fight, and there's no change, and no change plus no change is no change. But the the Nine of Wands, because he has tried the same pattern time after time after time, he does have wisdom. And the 10 is the end of the cycle, so he's close to the end of the cycle. He's done enough of the passionate struggle that he is beginning to see it. He's beginning. In traditional decks, they're just leaning on their staff and just kind of looking like, gosh, really again? He's done it enough times that he's beginning to see the pattern. And so use your passionate energy And while the wounded warrior is indicated by someone who's tired, let your tired of the pattern be what motivates you with judgment to, to pick a different. And let that motivate you to, again, have gratitude for those 3 of cups, so that a 4th cup can be given to you, a better cup. Well, okay. So this is the Angels of Abundance deck, and this is Let Go of Guilt. It's a really pretty card. Let's see if I can get it close enough that you can see it well. Let go of guilt. When you allow your light to shine brightly, you inspire others. Forgive yourself for what you think you've done or not done, and trust that God loves you unconditionally for who you are. Learn and grow from past mistakes instead of berating yourself for them. Oh, I love that. And then I thought for in honor of the Devil card, we would do a shadow work oracle card as well. Spirit, what might you have for shadow work? Something that we could work on. We have a couple of them. Apathy. Apathy is actually an energy kind of indifference. It really is a part of that 4 of Cups, that complacency. Apathy. Ignite your passion, for it's the antidote to indifference. Yes, that's beautiful. I love that. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful energy. Guilt. Release the chains of past mistakes and embrace the growth that they bring. Yes, unchain yourself. Unchain yourself from guilt. You can't know what you don't know. So begin again, letting go of the things that, looking back, you think, oh, I should have known better. I should have done it differently. I should have stepped out of that pattern. Why did I continue it? Don't beat yourself up. That's not love. There's no love there. And it's only going to attract to you circumstances that help you to feel guilty again, until you look at that and see the truth in it, which is, you can't know if you don't know. You can't know what you don't know. You can't learn what you haven't learned. You can't know what you haven't learned. And so, back to this apathy and this 4 of Cups, or 3 of Cups, be grateful for the things you have learned. And understand that there's more to learn. And that nothing is lost. And that you are where you need to be. And so, yes, definitely let go of guilt. Let the guilt go. And that may be a part of the first step in that Ace of Pentacles. So, I might do a couple of charms. Here, we have a couple charms for this. The ring. Eternal loops. Also, it maybe indicates a proposal that someone might be making, or that there is a proposal out there for you as you do this work. The pistol. Aim true. Aim your mind at what you want. The horse. The horse for me is the most noble of creatures. They will, definitely the most noble, most kind, trusting animals. They will do things for you that are hard, even more than dog will. They will continue to try. I know that very well from being a horse trainer. And then the death symbol, which for me just means that there's a transformation taking place. Anything that is ending, something else is beginning. And so death is always an opportunity for the transition that you are in. And while death definitely can indicate some pain and some difficulty as you work through some of it, I always love seeing the death symbol, because it does indicate that a new beginning is on the horizon for you. So I hope that this helps you, and that you learned a little bit about knees and their spiritual indications. And if you feel called to a personal reading or to spiritual counseling, coaching, that information is in the description box. And I hope that you have the most beautiful day. Namaste. Be blessed.